Oh my God. Can you even keep up with what is happening now? I've been away doing other things this morning, and when I come back, see what's happening in the news, see what I'm being tagged in. Holy shit. Now, most of the news right now has to do with this battle over deporting immigrants to an El Salvador prison. And the man at the center of this controversy is Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who the administration was sued on behalf of him for being illegally arrested, deported, and sent. Now, this has made its way all the way up to the Supreme Court, where eventually the Supreme Court voted 9-0. When has that ever happened? When has the Supreme Court ever been in unison? 9-0 said to Trump, you must bring him back, give him due process, fuck y'all. And the Trump administration is like hanging on every legality, technicality they possibly can to say, no, we're fine. We don't need to do that. So that's the background. Wait till you see. Okay, so as this battle is going on, the Democrats are like, screw you. We're going to send some people down there to check this out, to figure out what the hell is going on. So Senator Chris Van Hollen is down there. Blue Lusional Podcast just broke this. I'm going to play a clip from their video. This is his reasoning. This is why he found out that they're not sending him back.
Senator Chris Van Hollen traveled to El Salvador. He had just posted a video on his YouTube where he is speaking to the press in El Salvador after his meeting with the VP of El Salvador, and he gave the reason as to why Kilmar Abrego Garcia is not being brought home. I'm not going to say it. You could hear it right from his mouth.
And his answer was that the Trump administration is paying El Salvador, the government of El Salvador, to keep him at CCOT.
That is the name of the prison down there that everyone's talking about. And what he's referring to is a $6 million contract that the State Department has with El Salvador to send people to that prison. That's as reported by the Baltimore. Meanwhile, also happening today, Judge James Boasberg found the Trump administration is in contempt for removing the prisoners to El Salvador under the Aliens and Enemies Act when the court told them not to. Not only that, but the judge said, oh, hey, by the way, hey, Trump administration, if you don't appoint a prosecutor, because we know Pam Bondi ain't going to do her job, if you don't appoint a prosecutor, I will. Oh, and guess what? Boasberg isn't the only judge who's pissed and taking them to task. So on Tuesday, Judge Paula Zinnes told the lawyers in this case, to date, nothing has been done, and is basically like, I'm sick of your shit. She told him, clear your calendars, cancel your vacations, all hands on deck for this. So not only are they being required to answer for this under oath on April 23rd, she wants daily updates. Suck it, Elon. You couldn't even get that. But wait, there's more. Rolling Stone has published a scathing article about Trump and the president of El Salvador, who are in cahoots over this diabolical plan to send people to that black hole of a prison. But wait, there's still more. Just 2 days ago, in front of the entire press pool, the deputy chief of staff lied to Trump about this ruling. Listen to Joe Hubbard. He unpacks it.
Trump asked Stephen Miller, deputy White House chief of staff. He said something to the effect of, and Stephen, what was the ruling? Was it 9-0? Stephen Miller says, yes, Mr. President, it was 9-0. Trump says, in our favor? Stephen Miller says, yes, Mr. President, in our favor. Stephen Miller goes on to say, the Supreme Court unanimously, 9-0, said that the court cannot dictate foreign policy to the executive branch, said that no court has the authority to tell us whether or not we should return someone who's been deported. Literally said the exact opposite of what the order and the concurrence with that order said.
Now, Joe goes on to unpack the ruling from Sotomayor, so you can watch his video. By the way, I've tagged him, and I've tagged Blue Lusional in the caption below. But I did find a clip of Miller saying this. And this was, again, in that same meeting that Rolling Stone was reporting on.
What was the ruling in the Supreme Court, Steve? Was it 9-0?
Yes, it was a 9-0.
In our favor?
In our favor, against the district court ruling. The ruling solely stated that if this individual, at El Salvador's sole discretion, was sent back to our country, that we could deport him a second time.
Well,
No version of this legally ends up with him ever living here.
So I would just like to end this supercut of fantastic news for us with just a little Gia just said that. It's a little one. It's a little one. This wasn't one of my psychic predictions. This is when everyone kept freaking out and said, but no one's going to be held accountable and no one's doing anything and they're going to ignore it and they're going to get away with it. And I have repeatedly said, oh my sweet babies, no. Checks and balances are working. Even if the legislative branch ain't doing shit, the judicial branch is earning its salary right about now. And I have said that everything they do, that is shitty and in defiance of court, will come back to haunt them, will become the author of their own undoing. Now, one thing I did say intuitively, remember at the beginning of my April preview event, I said Spirit showed me this image of all these strings, and they're all parallel to each other, and they're going forward and coming to a unified point. And what they were communicating to me is that there are many different possible ways that the administration's undoing could happen. We saw Signalgate blow up. We're seeing this blow up. It could be any number of things. Oh, by the way, I haven't even gotten to the Doge whistleblowers. That's for another video. But there are all these different shitty, horrible, illegal, unethical things that they're doing, and any one of them could be the thing. But all of them woven together becomes the rope that they eventually hang themselves with. So have faith, my 4 a.m. clubbers. Have faith, my little blue Lulus. It is a good day. What did I say? It is a good day to be not a Republican.